Hello and welcome to Portugal. I'm Michael, man for BikeSocial. And you join me here with the Scrambler 1200. It's new from Triumph and this is the press riding launch. So there's not just one new Scrambler 1200, there's two. Yeah, there's the XC and the XE, E for extreme. Try and remember that one because it's the higher spec version. Price-wise, the XC comes in at £11,500 and is available in the UK from the end of February 2019. A month earlier, end of January, is the XE, and this is £12,300. So there's £800 worth of difference in terms of price. Now, both have followed this sort of modern day classic Bonneville Triumph range with the 1200 parallel twin liquid cooled engine. Kicks out about 90 brake horsepower. Peak power is about 7,250, and then torque, which is the most important part, really, as far as Triumph is concerned, and that's 110 Newton meters, and that's really low down, it's 3,250. Now, back to its sort of origin, Scrambler and scrambling particularly, that was sort of 1950s when that really made a name for itself, and Triumph were involved way back then. So what the company have tried to do is they've brought this new model out, almost like a renaissance of that history. And a lot of the naysayers were saying that they didn't believe that this had the off-road capability when the model was unveiled a couple of months ago back in London. And we've had the opportunity to ride it both on-road and off-road, just to see if that is the case. Now, I'm not the greatest of off-road riders, but there was a challenging enough section that we went to, both in this sort of playground, this adventure playground. It gave us enough in terms of loose sliding because the rain had been coming down and there was a bit of gravel, a bit of muck. So it allowed the bike to move around a bit, and then we went off into the hills following some trails and tracks, and it was a bit rutted and a bit loose and you got a bit of water. So yeah, so we tried it in its sort of more authentic way. And it gave me a great deal of confidence, primarily because it has an off-road mode. The XE comes with an off-road pro mode as well. So that's 5 riding modes on the XC model, 6 on the XE, rain, road, sport, on-road, off-road, and then it's also got a personalised rider mode, so you can personalise all the settings, the traction control, the ABS, and the power mapping as well. So what makes it able off-road in terms of a scrambler? Well, it's got that long travel suspension. We've got shower forks at the front, adjustable, and then this twin-shock piggyback Öhlins system made especially for the bike. And it not only gives you great satisfaction and a great understanding of the sort of surface beneath you off-road, but it also, it's kind of an authentic dive, I like to call it. So both one on the brakes, it's nice lurch forwards, and then when you take it off again, it really picks up and it's rewarding. So like I said before, the torque down low is where this engine character comes from. And it picks up so lovely. There's a really nice throttle connection. First gear, second gear are almost made for off-road. And that means that in third gear upwards, you can just kind of leave in third or fourth for all of your on-road. So anything slightly less tight than a hairpin, you can almost leave in third and just trundle round, pick it up on the throttle, brrr, away you go. And it's got some lovely power and pickup. In terms of sort of peak power, like I said, with that 90 horsepower, the claim is that it's 7,250 RPM where it kind of makes its peak. I'd say that anything after about 6.5, it's getting a bit breathless and need to be changing up. 16-litre tank is not, I don't think, going to get you more than about 150, 160 miles before you are sort of desperately in need of filling up. So it means it's got off-road capability. It has got on-road capability too, with it's joining forces, and it's becoming a bit of an all-in-one machine. Optional extras include things like a screen and luggage, so you can do a bit of touring if that's really what you want to do. I don't think this is the kind of model for that. Now, in terms of XC versus XE, the XE has a slightly longer wheelbase because it's got a longer swinging arm. It's got a longer travel suspension front and back, and that means that it's got a 30mm higher seat height at 870mm. And while it's quite narrow at the waist, which ordinarily will give you quite a lot of confidence getting on and off the bike for a bike that's particularly that height, you've still got this synonymous side sweeping, dual exhaust, over and under exhaust, again, very typical of a Scrambler, which actually puts your legs out quite wide. So I'm 6 foot tall, so I'll be fine with flat footing. 5'8" and below, and you'd probably, you'd get into the traffic lights on red, and you'd be 1 foot down. And just like the old Scrambler, you still get a bit of warmth off this exhaust on the XE. It's more calf level on the XC. It's a bit more inner thigh. Nice on a day like we've had today. It rained all morning, misty and foggy. It's fine this afternoon, but it was nice to get a bit of heat. Speaking of heat, heated grips on the XE is standard. Heated grips on the XC come as an option. And one of the other big differences between the two models is the cornering ABS and cornering traction control, thanks to the IMU, again, on this XE model. For me, this is more, it's got much more character, more identity with what Triumph wanted to do with the model. And while it's perfectly capable on-road and off-road too, if you wanted to go down the gravel traps and whatever. 21-inch front, 17 in the rear, Metzeler Torrance tyres. There's also got some Pirelli Scorpion Rallies, so if you wanted to do some off-road, that's sort of the official tyre for off-road. But they do a perfectly capable job, and for a lot of the road riding that we did today, there was plenty of damp patches, and not once did I find myself in trouble. And I even had the bike in a sort of a rider setting that cancelled out traction control too. What I tended to do is use my throttle hand as a traction control. But again, like I said, I didn't get myself into mischief just once. I can give you a full review at bikesocial.co.uk. Join me there.